Hi, giant builders. So, do you ever feel like there's just something blocking you from being the person God wants you to be or doing the thing God wants you to do? Maybe there's some trauma that's holding you back. Let's see what our next speaker has to say.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Hi, giant builders. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Please remember to follow us on our social media. And today's guest is Kimberly Nils. Hi, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. So I am Kimberly Nils. I am the CEO of ATK Innovations, which stands for Align, Thrive, and Know, which encompasses my book, my podcast, my speaking platform, and my up and coming coaching business.
Whoa, okay. So tell us a little bit about your book.
So my book, Sever the Ties, basically talks about different things that people deal with, like, for example, childhood trauma, bad relationships, generational curses, anything that prevents them from going forward and moving into their God-given purpose.
There's a lot of things that can block us and keep us from
Yeah,
moving forward. Yeah,
absolutely.
it's really hard to work through those things.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
Yeah. Do you have any like tips on like what should we look for that might be stopping us from moving forward?
For me, it was triggers, things that set me off or things that, took me to a certain place that I know I didn't like. And I just had to kind of really think and observe those things just to, see what they were and kind of like dig deep. And actually, in writing this book, it really helped me a lot because a lot of the things that I put in it, I never actually told anyone or said out loud. So it was a source of healing for me, as well as me hoping that it'll be a source of healing for others.
I say that's being pretty
Yeah.
vulnerable there if you never told
Yeah.
anybody, but yet you
Yeah.
wrote it in a book and it's out to the public.
Yeah.
So do you
Absolutely.
feel, how do you feel knowing that all that information is out to the public?
In the beginning, I was a little nervous because, being that vulnerable and that transparent, it kind of makes you feel like people are going to judge you or, look at you a certain way. But just the freedom and the relief that I felt in writing it and getting it out, after that, I kind of got over it.
So would
Yeah.
you say that what percentage of our trauma is childhood opposed to adulthood?
I think most of our trauma is childhood and the fact that we don't realize that it is and we grow up and then we're like growing into adulthood, but then we have all these issues, all these, roadblocks, all these obstacles, all these things that feels like it's keeping us stuck and we just can't seem to understand why. Or say for instance, we keep, getting into bad relationship after bad relationship. Those things are triggers and may stem from your childhood, something that you may have not even realized and never quite acknowledged or just got healed from.
Mm. And then you also have a prayer journal book. Is it
Um,
out already?
Yes, it is. Both of those are available on Amazon, and you can get them by way of my website as well. I made this prayer journal because I'm not sure if anyone else is like me, but I like to write down my prayers sometimes. And sometimes, when you find yourself looking back over things, you're like, oh man, I didn't even realize it. Like this came to pass, and like just having a place to jot those down and just kind of like meditate on and then look back on. I felt like it was a really good tool for people, so I kind of wanted to put that out there as a resource.
I think that sometimes for me, I think that I can recognize when prayers are being answered, but I don't think I recognize enough of my praises.
Mm.
I think I need to journal more praises so that I can focus more on that. That kind of helps with the mindset as far as looking at the
Yeah, absolutely. That's
of
good. I
being
like that.
a blessing to us. Okay.
Mm.
All right, that's on my to-do list.
I need to do that as well.
So what's the first meeting look like with you?
So doing the first meeting is really much of a welcome and just kind of like getting to know a person. So they will have to take a few assessments, give me a lot of detailed information where I can, assess the information and kind of see what it is that they're trying to work through, where it is that they're trying to go. And I can better understand what they need and, come up with a specific action plan for them.
Mm. Are there common action plans?
It just depends. Everybody deals with different things. Some people get stuck because they are insecure. They deal with insecurity. So, their action plan will be more of a mindset and a just like a self-focused, awareness where they realize that they are worthy, they are enough, those type of things. Whereas someone else may be dealing with trauma and they may have to like, really put them out there and really deal with them. And that's like two totally different, spectrums. you
Yeah, that
know?
is a big
Yeah,
span, big
yeah,
span. Yeah.
yeah. I really want people to just kind of really do a lot of self-inventory and just kind of see what it is that's holding them back. And when you realize it, that's the first step. Knowing is the first step. And then you can, get the resources, get the help, get the tools that you need to, just work through them and just be a better person and just to you can go forth and just make a positive impact in the world.
Well, it seems to me like it's hard to know sometimes because as like child, you sometimes block all those things out. How do we find out what's triggering us or what's causing us to be blocked?
Therapy worked for me. Sometimes you do have to go to therapy because you realize there's something wrong, but you're not understanding why. You may know the what, but you don't know the why. So not once you find out the why, it'll handle the what, and then you can deal with it. So therapy to me is a first step. I totally endorse therapy. I'm a fan of therapy. I think it is a wonderful tool and a resource that is here for us, but a lot of people don't utilize it.
So there are a lot of things that kind of like trigger us, if you will. Is
Mhm.
there any tips on like finding out what might be something that sets us off?
You just have to recognize in those moments what's happening. And you're gonna 9 times out of 10 you'll find a common denominator. That common denominator will kind of help you to realize it. So say for example, if I, in my past, I did have some experience with, verbally abusive men. So when someone would say something to me that I kind of didn't like, I would just, blow up. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, why, why am I triggered? Well, when they talk to me in that way, it kind of took me back to those relationships and how I felt in those relationships. So it was causing me to react in that way.
Oh, so finding out what in the
Yeah.
past is. I think it's a
Yeah.
I think it's a really relaxing time when you figure those things out,
Mm.
work through those. Like, okay, confession time. So I used
Mhm.
to get really irritated with drivers who would like cut me off or, be bad about that. And, then the inside of me would say, God will get you for that. And then I would give suggestions to God on what he should do to them.
Suggestions. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is hilarious.
So now I don't give God suggestions.
Yeah,
I'm
me,
getting
me
better.
too. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't need our help, but
You
we tend
gotta
to do it. It's human
you
nature.
gotta recognize the improvements in your life.
Listen, yes, you do. You have to celebrate the wins, no matter how small, because that's an improvement. I definitely can relate to that because driving in Charlotte is horrible. So I could definitely relate to that. It's just crazy.
Well, Giant Bills, if you're enjoying this conversation, I have some links up above or also in the notes of some other episodes that you might enjoy. So, Kimberly, any closing thoughts?
I really just want people to, be healed, be delivered, live life, and do what God has put you on this earth to do. Find your purpose, and when you do that, you'll just be able to soar.
And it's really more amazing when you find out God's purpose for your life. Just feel
Yes.
really in tune with that. It's just a completely different
Yep.
situation.
Fulfilled. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. Well, thank you, Kimberly. I really appreciate your time and your insights. I'll have your information below so that people can contact you. And you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Uh, Bye, Giant Builders. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.